This incident occurred during a road trip I took on my way back from visiting my family for the holidays. Normally, I prefer flying and don't drive for more than a couple of hours. However, this year the airfare to my destination was unexpectedly expensive, over $1,000 for a round-trip flight covering just a few states. Determined to stick to my plan of returning a few days before work resumed, I faced a delay due to a snowstorm on the day I intended to leave, forcing me to stay an extra 2 days before embarking on the drive. The roads were deserted, having surpassed the holiday rush, and the route took me through less populated areas, away from major cities. The challenge was to combat the monotony and stay awake during the journey. The initial 8 hours passed without incident. Although fatigued, the snow-covered road kept me alert. Around 10 p.m., with a hotel booked in a small town 2 hours ahead, a small light emerged in my rearview mirror. It turned out to be the headlights of a vehicle behind me, the first one I had seen in over an hour. Their lights approached rapidly, revealing a large van. Since it was a one-lane road, I couldn't move aside. Anticipating the van to overtake me, I continued driving. Surprisingly, upon reaching me, the van matched my speed and stayed behind for almost 10 minutes. It was unsettling, considering we were the only 2 vehicles on the road, and the van followed unusually closely, obscuring its front bumper and license plate from my mirror. An exit for a gas station appeared, and I decided to turn off, hoping the van would continue on the road, allowing me to create some distance. However, the van followed me down the exit ramp. At the gas station, uncertainty lingered. Was something wrong, or was it just my imagination? As the only gas station for the past 30 minutes, it was plausible that they also needed fuel. I parked at a pump and the van pulled in behind me. Observing the dimly lit and closed gas station, surrounded by empty darkness and snow-covered fields, a sense of unease crept in. Glancing in my mirror, I noticed a man outside the van refueling. I began pumping gas, watching the numbers on the meter. Abruptly, the man finished and headed to the back of the van. A gut feeling or instinct urged me to leave immediately. I pulled out the pump just as 3 men sprinted towards me from around the back of the van. Dropping the pump, I quickly entered my car, locking the doors. One of them grabbed the handle, attempting to open the door, but I sped away before they could gain access. Shaken and trembling, I reported the incident to the police, but received no updates. It seemed evident that their intention was to abduct people under the cover of night on the vast, unpopulated highway. What terrified me was the confidence and professionalism displayed in their operation. They retreated without hesitation as soon as they realized my car was secure. It left me wondering what could have happened if they had succeeded. I urge everyone to learn from my experience, as luck may not be on your side in similar situations. If you liked this story, subscribe to the channel to stay tuned. In 2019, I worked as a delivery driver for a pizza place near my school to make ends meet. It wasn't the best job, but it helped me afford my car and rent, ensuring I could get through college without being completely broke. One night, like many others, I clocked in at 6 a.m. delivering pizzas for 3 hours straight. After a lunch break, I resumed at 9:30, picking up the next order. The delivery address led me to a business center further away from town, filled with small office buildings and devoid of houses and stores. Navigating through the unfamiliar area, I followed GPS directions, hoping to find the right parking lot. Upon arriving at the address, I was taken aback. The parking lot was empty, and the office building showed no signs of activity. I double-checked the address, thinking there might be a mistake, but everything matched up. Parking and getting out of my car, I observed the glass door of the building with a dark tint. I knocked, and the door opened quickly, revealing a middle-aged man in casual clothes with a small grin. He expressed excitement that the food had arrived for a company party on the 3rd floor. Despite only seeing him and a single light in the hallway, I decided to be polite and provided him with the total. He tipped generously and then asked for a favor, to help bring the pizzas to the 3rd floor where the party was supposedly happening. Feeling awkward, I hesitated but ultimately agreed. As we entered the stairwell, a cold rush of air hit me, and I noticed all the lights were off except for a faint glow from the hallway. The man continued up the stairs, but my unease grew. When he realized I wasn't following closely, he made a remark about the lights, but I decided not to proceed. His demeanor shifted suddenly, and he rushed down with anger in his eyes. I dropped the pizzas, fled through the door, and ran for my car. I saw the man briefly emerge from the front doors before slamming them shut. I immediately called the police from a different location. By the time they arrived, the man had disappeared, and with a cash payment, his identity remained unknown. The office building was empty, and there was no one else on the third floor. It was evident that it was some sort of trap, and what awaited me on that floor remains unknown. I hope nobody else has to experience such a situation. I was only 17 at the time, working as a delivery driver for a construction business owned by my dad. My role involved transporting materials to job sites, sometimes requiring early morning shifts, particularly during busy weeks. On this day, I arrived at the warehouse at 3 a.m. for a repair job on an old, possibly abandoned building at the town's edge. Upon reaching the job site, I noticed a truck parked outside with its lights off. It seemed too early for anyone to be working, so I approached the truck, calling out to check if anyone was inside. With no response, I felt uneasy and called my dad, who didn't answer. Assuming it was a worker's personal truck, I resumed unloading materials. As I left the area, I glanced in my rearview mirror, and suddenly the truck's lights turned on. Startled, I stopped on the side of the road. The truck backed out, revealing someone inside. Concerned, I dialed my dad's number again, and as I waited for him to pick up, I noticed that the truck had stopped next to me. Feeling uneasy, I drove forward, but the truck matched my speed, blocking my way. Panicking, I tried to reverse, but the truck followed suit, tapping the rear of my car, causing me to lose control and hit a tree. The truck stopped briefly, but sped away as another car arrived. A worker, recognizing the other truck as Samuel's, informed me that tools and materials worth nearly $10,000 were missing from the job site. It turned out Samuel, a worker my dad had hired a few months ago, was likely involved in the theft. The incident that night suggested he tried to stop me from identifying his truck, fearing he'd be caught. Investigations revealed that Samuel's identity and documents were likely fake or stolen, making it unlikely for me to ever encounter him again.